you have a kind of you have a negative, you have an impression of it, right? Because it happened in your brain and in your body and everything. But you know what? Your body's part of your brain, because it's all the nerves. You know, you're connected to. You hear the sound coming in your ear, right? Then your sound comes out in your horn. In between, you did this thing with your hands and your lips and everything, all automatically, and all perfectly too, because your mind was not making any value judgments, and you weren't thinking, oh, that's impossible, or that's really hard, or anything else about it except just the pure notes. And I got to tell you, that didn't happen with Frank very often. It did happen with Frank on notes, on things that we learned, so we played. You know, I mean, his music, it was his notes, because we knew him so well that we could just kind of lose ourselves in the notes. But improvising wise, it was hard to play with him a lot of the time, because the backgrounds are so controlled. You just have like a vamp to play over, or you know, something like that, or it's so loud and the guys are so far apart. You just don't get that intimate improvisation feeling that you can with a small jazz group or with any kind of small improvisation group. It could be classical or rock, but it has to be a little freer than that, you know. On the other hand, there were some times when it was really fun, and we did play really well. But in general, it's just a different concept. This thing I'm talking about the improvising is, you know, kind of rare.
Yeah, I know that, and I'm going to include that part in my story. That's for sure. That's a nice thing you just said. Yeah.
Well, I discovered that when I was going to North Texas. That's why I thought of it, you know. We were playing. One night we played at this club called the Burning Bush. That group I was telling you about that had 4 guys in it. We had a rehearsal. There was a girl that I liked, you know, this real cute redhead. She came to the rehearsal. She was a music student. I convinced her, why don't you come to the rehearsal and listen to us play? She was like, I think she was a cello player or something, you know. They don't improvise at all. She didn't improvise at all. I said, why don't you come and hear us? And, you know, we're making up the music and stuff like that. So she said, okay. So she came along, and at the rehearsal, it didn't happen, you know. We just played, but it never gelled. We were just kind of learning the heads and going through the motions. But she said, geez, I didn't like that very much. She was one that would say what she thought. So I said, well, listen, just give us one more chance. Come to the concert, come to the club tonight. Listen at the club. So the thing was, at the club that night, we really got it. We just had mental telepathy all the way, you know. It was incredible. At one point, we suddenly broke into Canadian Sunset, you know. Da, 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 da. All 4 of us, right at exactly the same time. I don't know how that happened, but out of totally something completely the opposite, we all started playing that. It was just amazing. And that was the night I discovered it. And I could see everybody's face. I could feel everybody's mind in the whole place, not just the musicians. And I think that always happens, you know. It's just that it very seldom gets to your conscious mind. But I think you're always feeling all the minds of everybody. You know, in a room, say, where we were playing. And I guess you feel this, you know, somewhere you feel the minds of everybody in the whole entire world, probably. or have some effect, has some effect on people.
Did you ever discuss with Frank on improvisation and the mental state that is needed for improvisation?
You mean in this exact?
Did your concept when you was in the band? Did your concept?
I think I told him about what I thought about this very thing, but that thing is so different. It's so loud, you know. It's Frank was, you know, he had to be the instigator of everything. So if we were going to play some real improvisation, he would be out there conducting it.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it never happened, you know. It just didn't happen that way. It was a different thing, which is a good thing. That thing where he conducts and the conducting becomes like he's improvising as a conductor. That's really fun. It's fun for him and it's fun for us. But it's not the same thing I'm talking about.
I know.
And sometimes you just feel like playing something different than what he's going to conduct you to do. Plus, you know, it takes time, you know, to really do the improvisation thing. Sometimes it takes a little while to get it going. You can't do that on a rock concert because it's got to be now, you know. The lights are coming on. The programming is happening.
Did it take much time to learn his hand signals?
Yeah, they were just the same as, well, some of them it takes zero time because it's just intuitive. But other things, they were distinct signals, you know that. Most of those were real easy to learn. There were a few that I never did learn. I think in the 88 tour, I just couldn't remember them for some reason. We memorized a lot of music on that tour, you know. We memorized most of the tunes.
It was incredible when I heard the amount of pieces you have rehearsed for the tour. Over 100 pieces.
Right. Yeah, that was intense, all right.
You rehearsed for 4 or
2.5 months, the horns were there.